morning.
Hi, welcome aboard, crew. Thank you for being here for another evening of Captain's Quarters podcast. Cheers to you all. Cheers. And as tradition says, I have to tell you which rum it was. This week it's Santa Teresa, 1796. It is a good rum. It is, in fact, an excellent rum, and this was a gift for a housewarming for our new podcast studio. We'll put it over here where he can watch over it and get right into our show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is great to have you here. This is our second episode in our new Captain's Quarters podcast studio, and we welcome you aboard. So, tonight's going to be very laid back, very relaxing, because we don't have a guest. It's just me and our navigator. And maybe we'll see Max wander in, my good old sea dog and companion, and we'll put him up in the chair and you guys can ask me questions if you like. So, let's first let everybody know you can join up with us, like and subscribe, go into our YouTube channel, Captain's Quarters Podcast, hit that button, and on top of that, you can also go on Facebook and be a part of our crew on Facebook, where you'll get all the updates we can send you, so you can be a part of our Captain's Quarters Podcast crew. We want to make sure that you are in the know. We have lots of things coming up, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. All the different things we have planned for all the way up to October 10th, as it looks right now. I spent the last 2 or 3 days making contact with so many of my good friends in the pirate world, the entertainment world, the book world. We have some great guests coming on, and we'll talk more about them in just a little bit. But for now, how about the quote of the week, Mr. Navigator? History is not there for you to like or dislike. It is there for you to learn from it. And if it offends you, even better, because then you are less likely to repeat it. It's not yours to erase. It belongs to all of us. Those are very, very good words, and words I stand by when I talk on my tours at the Pirate Museum or through the city, the oldest city in the nation. I try very, very hard not to give personal opinion in my tours. I give facts, and sometimes it gets mistaken. Very often, sometimes it does. I'll give you an example. When I talk about the pirate code and how important the pirate code was to us, pirates admired the code, revered the code, and would cut a bloody thumb to sign the code. But the bottom line is that the code ensured that every man, regardless of his color of his skin, his nation of his origin, or his religious belief, every man on the ship was equal. Equal meaning they got an equal share of the food, an equal share of the rum, an equal share of the work, an equal share of the money, and each man got one vote. That vote was the control of their destiny, ladies and gentlemen. They had a say in their own lives. That's why voting is so important. That's why sometimes I will talk about voting with my friends. Voting is important, ladies and gentlemen, and it is the one way that you have to exercise your control, your destiny, of what you think is right for you. And if somebody votes differently from you, that should never be the cause to bring up arms, arguments, pitching and fighting. It should be the opportunity to open a door and actually have a conversation as to why you voted this way and I voted that way, and maybe we can come up with a happy median somewhere along the line. So voting is very important. But when I say regardless of skin color, nationality, or religious belief, I have people that will sometimes say, but you're talking religion to us. No, I'm giving you facts. The fact is that those men did not care about each man's religious belief as long as they adhered to the code. And that was important. And that's what this show is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Every week we hope to talk to you about history, community, involvement, charities, and whatever else we can do to promote positive and good fortune for all. So I'd like to ask you a very simple question for our question of the week. When you were a kid, what was your favorite summer pastime? We'll throw the pastime in there, or event. What was your favorite summer event? Or what did you do that was fun for you in the summertime, your favorite summer activity? I will tell you mine. I remember the days when we used to make ice cream. Boy, was that a chore. I thought I liked it a lot more, but now I understand why my dad had us help him. Because you see, there were no electric ones back then. It was all cranking. And guess who did the cranking? Between me and my brother, Ransom Mayhem over in Panama City Beach, we did a lot of cranking for a lot of great ice cream. So that's my favorite. And we'll be looking at our input on whose favorites pop up along the way. Anything pop up just now, Mr. Navigator?
Let's see. Yes.
Throw it up there. Spending summer with my grandparents. That's a good one too. Your grandparents are a fountain of knowledge and information. And it's a shame that we sometimes forget that. Loved camping. Spent many weekends camping and still do today. Camping is a good one. Even in the heat, camping in the woods can be wonderful. Bike riding the streets of Arlington, Virginia. That was back in the day when you didn't have to dress up and look like the Michelin Man with a headset and head helmets and knee pads and arm pads and elbow pads and bubble wrap. And somebody there, Donna Bogus, loved swimming. Well, we're in Florida. Who doesn't love swimming? Right? Going to the beach. Again, in Florida, who doesn't love it? Riding my mini bike or fishing at our cottage. Very, very cool. Never had a mini bike, had an opportunity. Fishing for a whole weekend in the South Jetty, right here at St. Augustine Inlet. Very good. So everybody has a favorite summer activity, and some of us are lucky that we might be able to still do them. Although I will not be cranking out any ice cream anytime soon, I can tell you that. All right. So let's talk about crew adventures, ladies and gentlemen. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers is a big part of our lives for both myself and Mr. Longwood. And we like to brag about what we have on the horizon coming up. And next weekend, next Sunday, I believe it is, July 17th, we're having a crew social and recruitment. It's also our business meeting and allowing new people to see how we operate. And anybody that is interested in belonging to the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, drop us a fast line so we can get you in. We know we have at least 12 new people coming to our event next weekend. That will put our numbers up to 60. And we're looking at making it at least 70. So come along. The Seawolf Privateers, a great crew down in the Palm Coast Flagler area. They did a murder mystery several weeks, a month and a half ago. We helped them out, myself and Miss Cece. I did magic in the lobby, so to speak, for them. Close-up magic at the table until the dinner was served and the play started. It's a murder mystery and dinner, ladies and gentlemen, and they had such a great review of it and so many people wanting tickets that they couldn't sell all the, they did not have the space, so they had to do a second one, and the second one is July 30th. And I personally know that all the money they raised from the first one and the money they're raising from this one, they are having this big blowout party in August for all the foster children of Flagler County. And Captain Mayhem's Magic Show has been asked to be a part of it. So we will be going down there and doing that. It's not an open to the public. It's for the children, their foster parents, the foster children, displaced children of all Flagler County, and we'll be going down and helping with that. And of course, December, we'll be doing something for our Christmas collection of toys and money to help those in need. And in October, we will be doing the Swashbucklers Halloween extravaganza. But it may be in a different location. It's on the down low right now. Loose lips sink ships. But we'll let you know. And of course, every Monday night, Captain's Quarters podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we hope that you will join us because we're about to show you some of the great guests we have between now and the middle of October. A couple of other things I'd like to share with you. So, July 21st, at the Pirate Museum. The crew of the 13 has asked me to give a little bit of pirate fun in the Pirate and Treasure Museum to a little child via the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We do that for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Give Kids the World, Dreams Come True. Any organization that would like to have a pirate experience at the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, please contact us. It has been worked out between myself and the director that the child, the siblings of the child, and the immediate family of the child will never have to pay to come in and visit with Captain Mayhem for a trip through the museum. It is always going to be something that we are giving to those children, especially if they want to be pirates. So we have them coming on the 21st, a Thursday, I believe it is, and we'll be doing a small tour there. Now, the tours I do for the children like that are not historical tours. They're fun and games tours. We have some fun things in the museum that are a lot of fun to do. And I will actually do a little bit of magic also with gold coins and whatever else I can think of. So it's more of a fun tour. It's not a history tour. Nobody's coming there with their family in those situations for history. They're coming to have a good time, and Captain Mayhem aims to please. So if you are part of any organization that has children that need some help cheering up, better disposition, contact me, Captain Mayhem, at the email wmmayhem@yahoo.com. wmmayhem@yahoo.com. Now, I sprung that one on Mr. Navigator, so he's not ready to put that across the bottom of the screen, but that's okay. We'll put it up there again soon. Also, this just out. I just made the final deal yesterday. September 16, 17, and 18 is Ancient City Con once again at World Golf Village. And Captain Mayhem will be there. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers will be allowed to have a booth along with Captain Mayhem. And we're going to set up the Captain's Quarters podcast there through the weekend. Now, we're not going to do an actual show from there. Our plan mostly is to take and set up the cameras and just have people come and stand in the booth with us. And maybe we'll have some questions on the board, or we'll ask them what they like about Ancient City Con or whatever we come up with. And then we'll take all of that conglomeration and put it into a van video, because on September 19th, which is Monday this year, Talk Like a Pirate Day it is, we'll be having a very special show because it's our 1-year anniversary. And we have a special guest. It happens to be Scarlett Deerhart. You see, she was born on International Talk Like a Pirate Day, September 19th. So what better than to celebrate our anniversary and actually have a pirate baby on board our show? So ladies and gentlemen, that's September 19th. And of course, anything you can think of that you might need Captain Mayhem or the St. Augustine Swashbucklers for, let us know. For now, though, Mr. Davey, let's put up one of our videos. How about the video that we did, since we're talking history? How about the video that I was commissioned to do for the Convention and Tourist Bureau?
All right. Oh. Yeah.
Some called them pirates, others called them privateers. It just depends on what side of the pistol you find yourself on. Florida's historic coast has had more than its share of pirate activity. With over 450 years of history, St. Augustine and the historic coast is the oldest continually occupied European-established settlement within the borders of the continental United States. The city can boast of one other unique point in history. It is a city with more pirate activity, dare I say even more pirate history, than any other city in the continental United States. So listen well as I tell you the stories and the history of Florida's historic coast. Jean Ribault, although a French naval officer, established a foothold on the Spanish-claimed land of La Florida with his building of Fort Caroline, now known as Jacksonville. In the eyes of the King of Spain, the Protestant religion of the French, and the acts of piracy committed from Fort Caroline, This truly made the French encroachment on Spanish soil a dangerous nest of pirates. Sir Francis Drake, although a privateer in the history books of England, granted that status by Queen Elizabeth I. The history books of Spain portray Drake in a completely different light. When he arrived here in 1586, he pillaged, plundered, and burnt the entire city to the ground, marking him as a pirate. Robert Cyrils raided the city of St. Augustine in 1668. Under cover of the night, they snuck into the sleeping town, pillaging, plundering, and killing over 60 people. It is said that the devastation and terror of this attack was the final prompting of Spain to build the Castillo de San Marcos. It still stands today as the oldest masonry fort in the entire continental United States. For 4 centuries, Florida has withstood every manner of attack, be it pirate or weather. And Florida's historic coast would not be the same if it were not for pirates such as myself.
I hope you enjoyed that. We had a good time making it, and it was made by my good friend Stan, who I've done some other work with.
Make your space extra stylish at no extra charge with our free design service.
What is that? Somebody trying to encroach upon our show.
I took care of it.
That's all right. Good. Send him out to sea. Ladies and gentlemen, a good friend of mine, Stan, he helped me make that video. He did a lot of the editing. We had a good time doing the filming of it in the Pirate and Treasure Museum. And that's one of the things we'd like to share with you. Not just videos of me talking about pirates or history or entertainment. We'd love to have any of you submit your videos to us so that we can put them on so people can see. We're always interested in showing off everybody else. So thank you very much, Nightingale in Florida. I'm partial to it and believe it was a good video. So we're talking about the future of the St. Augustine, not the Swashbucklers, no, the Captain's Quarters podcast. Our future is up to you. You see, we want to do this show as often as we can every Monday night and have guests on the show. We want to talk about history. We want to have great themes. We want to have current events, talk about the entertainment that's going on across our fair city. Why, there is so much that we'd like to have, and it's up to you all to be a part of it. In fact, we have some great guests now that are going to be on our show. Let me see if I can pull my picture up on it. New on the horizon, there it is. Now, from this distance, I can't see it, so I have to pull it up on my screen, and let's see if I can pull it up over here where I can see it. All right, let's see, Mr. Davey. There it is there, and there it is there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to run down the list and tell you a little bit about him, hoping to pique your interest to come and have a good time with us. Andrew Ratliff, he's a great magician up in Jacksonville. I've been friends with him for nigh on about 9 years, 10 years now. He's a stilt walker, an escape artist. He's done quite a few shows, not just around Jacksonville, but he's also worked with me here in St. Augustine, and he's been on a couple of TV shows. But I'm not going to give it all away. I want you to tune in on that show. That would be July 18th. July 25th, Carol Busby. She wrote a wonderful book all about what would have been like had Anne Bonny lived past the time she died. How would she have handled life? How would she have attacked the world? What would she have done? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great book. It is suitable for teen girls, and because we talk about the empowerment of women, it is a great book. But July 25th, when she's on, it's a remote episode, but she'll be in town the weekend after, and we'll be celebrating a book signing of her book, which we have in the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. So you can come down and visit us and get one of her books autographed. Now, this next guest for August 1st is a very, very good friend of mine, and I'm not even worthy to speak his name. His name is Jeff Williams. He is a fine, fine magician, and him and I have been friends since the 90s. We used to challenge each other with ideas. He was one of the few magicians I enjoyed sitting with and just having conversations on how could we do this or how could we do that. And some of his routines are just outlandishly funny. He is very entertaining. He has traveled the world, and I'm not going to give too much more away, but ladies and gentlemen, he is a renowned magician, known far and wide, and we'll be putting up credits for all of these people over the next 2 weeks, so you know who's who along with us. August 8th, the great Tom Mason, the lead of the Blue Buccaneers out of Nashville, Tennessee. And many of you know we've had Tom Mason here to perform for us at some of our events, one of our Christmas events, one of our Old City Pirate Festival events. It's always a grand time to have Tom Mason here. His music will make everybody jump up and start dancing the jig because pirate music just does that. August 15th right now is an open date. So if you'd like to be a part of us and join us in the show, there is an open date for you. Now, August 22nd, he's been on the show before. That would be the River Pirate. And we're going to talk again on rum. And he is the rum aficionado. And we hope other people that like rum will come along with us and learn a little bit more about rum. Not sure what we're going to taste, but we'll try something and we'll share it with you. Max Michaels will be here on August 29th. Now that's just 2 weeks away from Ancient City Con. Max Michaels is one of the major players that runs, owns, and sets up Ancient City Con here in St. Augustine, Florida at World Golf Village. He may actually be bringing a friend of ours, both mine and his, the Countess Alexis. She will be here also, hopefully. We'll have to move in an extra chair just to have her here. But we'll be talking about Ancient City Con that week and how much fun we can have, and maybe even come up with a few ways to have some prizes for you. So join us on August 29th. That puts us all the way up into September 5th. And we're hoping to have Sketchy Guy.
Yay!
And our navigator and myself and Hellfire, our cartoon characters. Well, he did them. And we'd like to have him on to tell us a little bit more about all the cartooning that he does. So he's set for September 5th. September 12th, we won't have a guest. We have been talking about, for the past 3 or 4 months, doing a special episode just on the superstitions of the nautical world. Well, it just so happens that September 13th, the very next day, is National Defy Superstition Day. So what better time than the night before to talk about superstitions? So on the very next day, you can go out and defy them. Walk under a ladder. Open an umbrella in the house. Have some cats walk across your path. Spill salt everywhere you want. And step on all the cracks you like. So we'll talk about that on September 12th. September 19th is our first anniversary. That is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, as we said earlier. And Miss Scarlett Deerhart from Shiver Me Pictures will be here with us. And that will be an in-studio one, I hope. It will be wonderful to have her here. The very next Monday is September 26th. Mandy Jo Brown. She is the leader of the Utah Pirates, based in, of all places, where do you think, Mr. Navigator?
Utah.
Utah. Caught him sleeping. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they have one big giant lake out there, so I guess they have room for a pirate or two. But the Utah Pirates use pirate garb and characters to go into the schools and work with them on reading programs. So we want to have them talk to us about what they do. And ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, they've supported us. They came out for one of our Old City Pirate Festivals before too. And Mandy Jo and maybe a couple of the others will be here in October. So maybe we'll have us a pub crawl, and maybe we'll make it a podcast pub crawl. That would be a lot of fun. Andy Nance. If you live in St. Augustine and do not know Andy Nance, then you live under a rock. He's an author. He's an actor. He's got the voice. He's got the look of a cross between a biker and old Saint Nick himself. He's done many of the plays in the Limelight Theater, and I was privileged enough to be on stage with him for a play we did at the Colonial Quarter when we first opened the Colonial Quarter up. To pick a lot of players. and it was a lot of fun. I learned something because being on the stage in a play, that was my first time that I ever thought I would have to memorize a script. And I thought I would just fail at that, but it was a fun time. And I believe we ran that play for 4 months. So Andy will be here. And
Yeah, I was also on stage with Andy in a play.
That's right, you did. You played Sitting Bull, if I remember right.
Aye.
And it was Annie Get Your Gun?
Yep.
That's right. And Andy is an author, and he's written at least a half a dozen books. I could be wrong on that. It might be even more than that. But he's getting ready to come out with a children's scary Halloween book in October. That's why he's asked to do October with us. And then October 10th, we're hoping to have a good friend of ours from Las Vegas, Mr. Mo, and I butcher his name every time, Lastafogels. I'm not even going to try it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope to have him on board. He's had some health problems lately, and I talked to him just 2 days ago, and he's doing well. In fact, he was at a concert on Saturday evening, I believe it was, when I talked to him. So there it is. We have waiting on deck. We have a couple of other people that would like to be in the show. They're either standby for dates that don't actually happen, or we'll put them in October, November, and December. And that's my good friend, Morgan Lanny. Oh, I've known Morgan for 13, 14 years. She's a great tour guide. She's no longer doing tour guide work, but she still has some great memories, and she's a native of St. Augustine. So we're going to talk about tour guides here in St. Augustine when we get her on board. We also have the Seawolf Privateers. It's one of the crews that the St. Augustine Swashbucklers work hand in hand with, and we've told them that if they need an episode to advertise one of their events, whatever that event may be, they have but to ask. So they're in the wings waiting along. This next one is a really good one. Well, I thought we were going to put them in August, but I had to move them around, and that's Dan and Jay. Now, Dan and Jay live on a boat, and they travel on boats, and they've actually sailed on the Spanish galleon, and they're now up in the harbor of Baltimore right now. And we'd like them to come on board and tell us about all their travels on tall ships. They are tall shipmates of the highest order, and we'd like to have them come along. And then, of course, my good friend and the director of school tours at the Pirate Museum and the Colonial Quarter, Mr. John Stavely. He also plays Mr. Henry Flagler at times, and we'd like to have him come on board and talk about the history of Henry Flagler here in St. Augustine in the 1880s, I believe it is. So you see, we have a huge lineup now. And before the show, Mr. Navigator and I, we were sitting there talking about who else could we get? Who else could we get? So we'll be sending out some more messages. But if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to have your talent, your ideas, your history, your crew, your work, your art, your books, or whatever else, you have but to send us a message and join up with us, because we'd love to have you on the show. What else do we want to tell them about Mr. Longwood?
There's always there's that video of your new podcast, right? The Pirate Room.
What's that?
There's the new video about your Pirate Room.
We could do that one. That would be a good one. I put the other picture up first that I asked you about, if we decided to do that one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these two lovely ladies, the one with the red hair is Dakota Runnels. If any of you are into the wrestling, you might know who that is. Her family was very, very famous. In fact, the blonde is Terry Runnels, the WWE wrestler. Dakota went to Flagler College, and in 2016, I think it was, she ran into me and asked if she could do her video project for her grade, her school grade, on Captain Mayhem. I was only too honored to have her do that, and we got to be good friends, and we got to talk, and, well, the rest is history. She's now making short films, and she graduated in videography, and she's become quite famous herself. But she did a wonderful video. I'm very fond of it myself. It is a really good video, and I'd like to just share it with everybody tonight. So, Mr. Longwood, go ahead and let him see.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the
Oh, this one.
Ready, David? Yep. Hey, welcome aboard. We thought we'd do a video just to show you the Captain's Quarters podcast studio and my pirate room here for Captain William Mayhem. So we welcome you aboard. Come on in. Let me show you around. Here we are in my new pirate room. If you were anywhere near or got to see my last pirate room, this one is going to make you go, wow. Take a look at everything that we've got here. Pan it all the way down. This is over 650 square feet, close to 690 square feet of nothing but pirate, magic, and fun. If you come over here and want to visit with me, I have the hospitality for you. I have a bar. I even have a bartender. He will run up all of the rum drinks we need, and I have almost everything you need. For those of you that don't drink rum, I do have some whiskeys here, only the good ones, and maybe even a bourbon. But we're set to have a good time. You play poker? I have had this poker table for many, many years. Finally have the chance to have it out. I want to have some poker parties. For any of you that like to play poker, we'll play some poker. Big screen TV, we had that there over in the other house. But guess what? I'm not much for sports, but I do like to watch a good pirate movie now and then. We got enough room to have a pirate party room for Pirates of the Caribbean, Cutthroat Island, or my particular favorite, Muppet Treasure Island. I think that would be a fun time to have. If you work your way further through, another door, this is actually the front door. You came in my side door. That's for only my special guests. Up this ramp, I've been collecting over the years as a pirate. About 18 years now I think we've been a pirate here in St. Augustine, and I've collected quite a few weapons. From swords, to knives, to pistols. There's a good one, that picture right there. The centerfold of Sports Illustrated when they did a Where Are You Now with Pat Croce right there in the middle, and Captain Mayhem, and some of our other pirates from the St. Augustine Swashbucklers joining in. That was a fun photo shoot. This whole side here is all about the magic that I've been lucky enough to do. The privileges I've had to work with many people, some of them right here. I'm not going to tell you all of them. If you want to come and see all of this, you're invited. I'd love to have you come and see this and let me share the hospitality of the Captain's Pirate Room. And of course, Captain's Quarters Podcast. There, ladies and gentlemen, is the studio. Now, we've already shown one picture of it, but I thought maybe a video of it so you could get a better bird's eye view of it. There it is right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're quite proud of that studio, and we do have several guests lined up. Tom Mason, the Blue Buccaneers, he'll be joining us. A very good friend of mine, Jeff Williams, a renowned magician, has awards. You can't even imagine the number of awards he has. I talked with him this morning, and he'd be very happy to be a part of our podcast so we can talk about his travels around the world and just the art of magic. There's so many others that are coming on board this fine Captain's Quarters podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next 23 weeks, I already have 11 guests showing up. So, tune in. We'll be here tomorrow night. Tomorrow night will be just an in general conversation with all of our watchers and listeners, and we'll tell you more about some of the new things that are coming up on Captain's Quarters podcast. and we're only about 8 weeks away from our first year anniversary, which happens to be September 19th. And of course, if good Scarlet Deerheart is watching, it would be terrible of me not to say it's her birthday, September 19th, so she's going to be our guest of honor for our 1 year anniversary. We hope you'll tune in for that on September 19th. But for now, tomorrow night, Captain's Quarters Podcast. Here it is, my pirate room. The hospitality door is open to each and every one of you. Come out and have a rum with me, play some poker, or just sit and conversate. Pan it one more time across, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll sign on out. Thank you very much. Aye, that was a good one. And I forgot about that one. That wasn't even the video I was talking about.
That's what I was talking about. My fault. I thought you were talking about that.
That's all right. We got our wires crossed on it. It happens. No worries. That is a good video. You did a great job on that one. I'm just so proud to have such a great pirate room now that I just want to show it all. And I want people to come and have a good time and visit with us and enjoy the hospitality that I have here. I am just so happy. When we first had to move, it was terrible. It really was. But good fortune smiles. And sometimes, and I hate cliches and old sayings, but sometimes when one door closes, other doors open. Well, I got two doors here. So ladies and gentlemen, come out and enjoy. We'll be having a big party in August here on the property. We have a huge backyard. This house sits on a little over an acre, surrounded by trees, long driveway. We're happy with it. So we want everybody to come out and have a good time with us. For now, though, how about showing that other video that was done by Dakota Runnels?
All right.
And cheers to you all as he's bringing that one up for everybody to see.
Screen. Share.
Ah, 2015. I am known far and wide as William Mayhem, the pirate magician of St. Augustine. In 2010, was picked up to be the voice and the face of the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, which is the largest pirate museum in the world. And what better city to put it in than St. Augustine? 450 years old, and a pirate history here. 16 to 19, worked the beaches of Florida as a magician, joined the military, traveled around the world for 13 years, lived in 11 countries, or visited 11 countries, ended up in Las Vegas, Nevada in 1985. I was in the military stationed at Area 51. I started selling myself out doing magic. I got into a few comedy clubs while I was in Vegas. That lasted me until 2006. But in 2006, I pretty much had enough of Vegas. Vegas is a young man's town. It was time to go home. But the character of a pirate started to come out. Pirates of the Caribbean came out in 2001. And the pirate enthusiasm has been strong ever since. Prior to that, it wasn't that strong. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers have been in existence since 2001. Been the captain of the crew since 2009. At least in St. Augustine, being dressed as a pirate is not too bad a thing. But anywhere else, we might be creepy. So the overall purpose of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers is to be community involved and to give of ourselves the minute you put the outfit on, everybody's an entertainer. Some just have more abilities than others. But as long as your goal and your purpose is just, then come out and have a good time and be a pirate. Everybody always says that the only way to enjoy whatever it is you do for a work is to do something that you love. I may not be making lots and lots of money, but I love being a pirate. I love being a magician. I love being an entertainer. Find what you love, and that's what you should do. I will continue to do this until it's time to say goodnight.
I'm very fond of that video, probably because of the friendship that I made with Dakota, but because it's not flashy, it's just a video, and it's pretty cool. And I'm not saying that because I'm in it, I'm saying that because she did a wonderful job, and I've used that video to sell myself and with other people, so it works very well. So I'm very happy with that video. And that video is an example of what we'd like to do. If you're a pirate from somewhere else and you want to come to St. Augustine and have a good time and we shoot some video stuff with it, Mr. Longwood does some pretty good editing, and we'd like to have you come and hang out with us and visit a couple of the bars here in St. Augustine and swig a rum, take some videos, and share it with everybody. We'd love to do that. If you're a magician, come and hang out with me. Show me some card tricks. Talk about history, because as you can tell, the history of pirates, the history of magic, the history of the United States of America are all very important and dear to me, and we like to share it. So come on out and do that also. So you see, that's what this podcast is all about. And even before we started doing the Captain's Quarters podcast, Mr. Longwood and I tried to do a few other videos just for our crew. And they were okay, but we stepped our game, and we're still continuing to step our game. We have plans to do a Captain's Parlay, which will be a live event downtown on St. George Street, in which we will set up our cameras, sit there on St. George Street and talk to any of the tourists that come about, and they can stand around and talk about their favorite parts of St. Augustine, and we'll video it and put it on our podcast and then share it with people. And our first one has already been decided upon for location. We just haven't set a date yet. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the location right now. Augie's Draft House, right there on St. George Street. It's a place where you can go in and pour your own beer. And they're excited about having us come down. In fact, surprised me with the idea that they'd like us to do it on Friday evening. So we're working on trying to figure out what's a good Friday between now and the end of the summer to do it. And we'll be letting you know. Come down. We have some Captain's Quarters poker chips. Maybe we can figure out a way that if you come down and say the magic word, you earn yourself a poker chip. A Captain's Quarters first edition poker chip. So those are the kind of things we're in for. A whole lot of fun. It includes everybody. If you're the captain of a crew, we want you to brag about your crew with us. If you're an artist and write books or paint paintings, I want you to show off. The entire world needs talented people. And there's a lot of them, not just pirates. We have a lot of friends that have talent, and we'd like to share their talent with you, and thereby helping our show and helping them. So that's very important. Mr. Longwood, since we talked about history, you always make a very fine This Day in History.
man down. To me way, blow the man down. Blow the man down, police, blow him away. Give me some time to blow the man down. We went over the bar on the 13th of May. Way, blow the man down. The Gallagher jumped and the gale came away. Give me some time to blow the man down. As I was a-walking down Paradise Street, way, blow the man down. A saucy young damsel I happened to meet. Give me some time to blow the man down. I says to her, Polly, how do you do? To me way.
Please do share it.
So, town criers not get enough attention or the recognition they are due, which is why the first International Town Criers Day was founded in 1997 by a town crier himself, Scott Fraser of Waterloo, Ontario. Despite the importance that his vocation held, Fraser discovered that there was no official day to celebrate his job and that of many before him, which is why he decided to establish one. Since then, International Town Criers Day aims to bring this profession into the limelight in order to highlight how town criers have contributed to societies and the importance of their role in disseminating essential information to the general public. The earliest town crier can be traced back to the ancient Greeks, where heralds would be sent to announce the onset of war. Fun fact, the word stentorian, meaning loud and powerful relating to voice, comes from the name of a Greek town crier named Stentor, who was said to have had the voice of 50 men. In medieval England, town criers were essential in keeping the general populace apprised of important news and current affairs, and they would begin to cry with the words, "Oyez, oyez," which roughly translates from French to "hear ye, hear ye." Every country had its form of town crier before the invention of newspapers and the spread of literacy. Thus, the job of the town crier was prestigious because they had to be literate and were responsible for ensuring that people were made aware of important news. Sometimes these officials were the bearers of bad news and therefore needed protection from the crowds that would want to shoot the messenger. So laws were passed that declared it treason to kill a town crier. In fact, the phrase "don't shoot the messenger" stems from the command to protect town criers.
How very interesting that is, and you learn something new every day. We've all heard "don't shoot the messenger." Now we know where it came from. That's pretty good. Being a town crier requires a voice. That is for sure. Very good information, Mr. Longwood. Appreciate that inclusion into our show for tonight. You may not make much money, but you're building up treasure of the best kind that will never tarnish. Thank you, Nightingale in Florida. Very good. Ken Smith. As a pirate entertainer myself, the smiles and the laughter we put on the faces and in the hearts of the kids and families we meet is treasure enough. You are so right, Mr. Smith. You are so right. So we've reached close to the end of our show. We normally do our thank yous, and I think we'll do our thank yous, but we may go a few minutes over because it looks like we've had quite a few people post in some information, and we haven't even talked about all of that they've posted in. So let's do our thank yous real quick, Mr. Longwood. Okay. Let's start with our thank yous to our show sponsors. It's always important to thank those people that help us out, and that would be Ancient City Sirens under Gina Marie, Dick's Wings right here in this part of town on US 1, Paper and Strings, Shiver Me Pictures, Colonial Oak Music Park, and of course the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, where I will be doing tours every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from now until August. Open to the public tours. Come down and see us. 3 to 4 tours a day, 10:30, 12, 1:30, and 3. Come on down and say hello and learn a bit about pirates. It's a grand time. How about a thank you to our crew support? We can't do this show without some of the people that are there. The Powder Monkey, those people that help W Mayhem Productions. These St. Augustine Swashbucklers, they contribute also in helping us. Of course, Mayhem, I guess that's me. And Davy Longwood, Hellfire Henley, our cartoon characters there. And of course, we do have to thank Sketchy Guy for those great cartoons of the Powder Monkey and us cartoonish guys. And of course, a reminder of the charities we support. Not only do the St. Augustine Swashbucklers do work for these charities, but we join right in because the Captain's Four Quarters podcast and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers is pretty much one and all the same. We share and share alike. And we do a lot of work. The Humane Society, we help them out quite often. The last time we helped them was around May. And in about the 12-day period of time, we raised over 1,000 pounds of dog and cat food for them. It's time for us to do that again. And maybe that will be our August project. Inc., Investing in Kids. This organization helps teachers with the funding they need to buy all the extras they need to help those kids along, because they just pull it out of their own pocket, and that's not right for teachers to have to do that. And St. Augustine Youth Services. Ladies and gentlemen, this organization takes care of children that have been removed from homes where parents don't deserve to have children. I mean, that's how I say it. It may sound harsh, but there are some times where parents just don't deserve to have children. And these boys, we take care of the boys' campus, and there is anywhere from 20 to 35 boys at one time on this campus. And every Christmas, we try to do something special for them. So we do a lot for them. And then the logo of Toys for Pits. Pits standing for Pirates in Training. And the St. Augustine Swashbucklers raises money and toys to help families at the holiday times, to make it a good time for everybody, for those families that are in need. So charity is the number one cornerstone of everything that we pirates like to do. I always like to tell everybody, we're not quite like Jack Sparrow. They would say, take what you can, give nothing back. But in the case of all these pirates that I work with, we take what we can and then just spread it around and share it. It's a good thing to be a pirate. And of course, Patreon. If you want to be a part of our financial support, you can go to Patreon and be a part of our show and make a monetary donation on a monthly basis. What are we using now, Mr. Longwood? The captains?
Yes.
Powder Monkey, we have 0. At First Mate, we have 6. And those 6 people, they just have $5 a month put into our account. And to this date, believe it or not, we haven't used any of that money. It's time for us to think about the new camera, which we're talking about. We have 221 subscribers.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have 6 sponsors. So without them, we can't do this show. Starting next week, we have 13 weeks of special guests. But let's do a quick look at, I'm moving the screen. I have 2 screens on this, ladies and gentlemen. If you were wondering why I'm looking back and forth, I put the big screen there in front of me so I can see what's going on and watch. And then I use this smaller screen to put my notes on. But right now, I'm going to not only put my notes up there, they're down and away. I'm putting my glasses on so I can actually read. Let's see. I'm going to go all the way back to the very bottom, very start of the show, and just go through everything and see what we have here. There's Adam Lemons. It's great to see you. And there's Miss Christie, his better half. We like that. Let's see. There's Mr. Jim. Thanks for tuning in. Nightingale in Florida. Al Lane. Well, very good to see you, Al. It's nice to have you on board. Mr. Jim, I venture to suggest that anyone who doesn't believe in something bigger than themselves has never lived through a real storm on the high seas. You know what? You're absolutely right. Very good one. We have some great comments that we already talked about. We have a couple of Facebook users that have, with my friends in the hood. Very good. Swimming, going to the beach, riding mini bikes, fishing. Zachary Harper has learned to cook many different things over an open fire. Snorkeling in Cuba. That's a good one. Got our tickets for the murder mystery. Can't wait. Very good. You'll be joining us. That'll be a good time. And let's see. Ken Smith, ahoy mates, logging in for the first viewing. Oh, your podcast. We hope that you will stay and become a member of us then. We appreciate you being a part. Let's see. Diefendorf. Now there's a name for you. Huzzah Stan. Been here since today. Love the rum reviews. Very good, very good. Andy Nance is an actor friend of Donna Bogus. We have shared the stage a couple of times. And I must say that Miss Donna Bogus is a wonderful, wonderful theater actor. And we've watched her in several of her plays also. She was in Annie Get Your Gun, along with Andy, and along with our own ship's navigator who played Sitting Bull. And you know what made him a great Indian? The same character he uses here as Davy Longwood. He keeps his mouth shut. Very stoic he is, very stoic. Cutthroat Island, Diefendorf says is their favorite. I'm with you there. Cutthroat Island is one of my favorites also. I love that movie, but I'm a huge Gina Davis fan too. The new place looks great. Thank you, Jim. You're going to have to come over and have a drink with me. And if I recall, you might not be much of a drinker, so we'll have some Tampico or some iced tea for you. Thank you, Diefendorf, for the happy about our new home. We're very happy about it, very happy. Thank you, Adam. I love you too. I'm going to miss you this weekend, but your reasons for not being able to come all the way from over there is totally understandable. In this day and age, we have to pick and choose when we're going to waste or use the gas that we have. So, had the pleasure of meeting you last week at the museum. Thank you, Mr. Ken Smith. I do remember that, and I'm glad that you are now a part of our captain's quarters. Sail and Sword, there is a new one, all the way from Texas. Very good, very good, very, very good. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, you click thumbs up, it does help. Yes, the thumbs up does help. Subscribing to us on YouTube, liking us on YouTube, the whole 9 yards helps us. The more we have, the better we get. And eventually, maybe we get so many that YouTube says, hey, you're doing really good. We got to give you some money now, which means they're going to use commercials on us. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of every show on Monday night, the show downloads to our YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch it at your leisure and enjoy the show. In fact, all of our shows are there. Right, Mr. Longwood?
Aye, Captain, all of them.
All of them are there. You can go back and watch. Some of them are wonderful shows, especially the ones with guests. I will admit that a show that just has me and Mr. Davy Longwood, and sometimes our good friend Hellfire Henley, I will admit they may not be the most exciting of all shows, but once in a while we just have to lay back and tell you what we're doing. So, Sail and Sword says, crewing the 1877 tall ship Elisa. Oh, very good. Very good. We might have to have you come on and tell us all about sailing the tall ships. I have been on a couple of tall ships myself. I've walked the decks of the Baltimore. I've been in the open waters with the Bounty. And I've gone to 2 tall ship events, one in Savannah and one in Jacksonville, and walked the decks of many other tall ships. And I've entertained on a Swedish tall ship that I can't even pronounce the name, but boy, was she a beautiful ship. And it was a corporate party that they had on board that ship up in Jacksonville, and they hired me to come up and do magic as a pirate. It was wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've reached our time. And our time is always sadly one that we have to say, well, we'll put some more in for next week. We love every one of you, and we're glad that you're joining us. We thank you for being a part of our show, because without the audience, it's just me and Davey talking here, and you can see how much talking he does. So it's like talking to myself. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we enjoy this show, and we hope that you will stick with us. And if you have an idea for a show, or you have an idea for something we can do, or you have an event you'd like us to show up at and do some video recording and add it to our show, all you have to do is let us know. Our Facebook page is also Captain's Quarters Podcast. Join that page. We'd like to have 3,000 people in there by the end of the year. That helps us get more people. But for now, I guess it's time to say goodnight. I have poured myself one more shot, and I say to you, each and every one of you, Mr. Longwood,
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew, always. Cheers to you. We thank you for tuning in to us this week. We look forward to seeing you next week with my good friend Andrew Radcliffe. We'll be here doing some magic I'm trying to get him to come in and do it live so that right here on this table, we can do a couple of good card tricks and have some fun. But we do want to talk about magic history, and it should be a good time. So cheers to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us. We're signing out. Ring the bell.